Good afternoon, Christopher Coleman. Welcome to 103.7 3WAY-FM. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Anton.
Oh, our pleasure, mate. Look, your band Christopher Coleman and the Great Escapes debut album, The Great Tasmanian Escape, was released recently. Congratulations. What a wonderful record.
Yeah, it's taken a while to get out, but I've always believed in it, and hence sticking with chipping away to being able to release it. So,
yeah.
Thank you. It feels good, and we've got a show in Hobart to launch it next week, and
right,
that'll be our victory lap.
Yeah, no, that's great. Look, I know the reaction to the album's been quite incredible, really. It's just rave review after rave review. You must be really happy with the album, with the reception the album has received.
I ought to be, yeah. I a little bit numb to it all. I guess I'm still in shock a bit that we've actually got the thing out.
Oh, right.
And, it's as you say, it's a wonderful thing to have that affirmation, and hopefully it won't be too long, and I'll be able to really soak it up and appreciate those words that have been given to us.
Yeah, no, that's great. Look, I know, and you mentioned it took a long time to get out, and I know due to a variety of reasons, of course, including COVID, the album was a long time in the making, nearly 4 years. Was there ever a time you actually wondered whether or not the album would ever see the light of day?
Yeah, well, almost. I'm a very committed. My one achievement on the football field was most committed player in under 15.
Oh, okay.
And I've very, very much taken that towards, well, hopefully more things than just my commitment to making albums and releasing them. But I was always pretty sure that we'd get it out. I wasn't sure how. I was very much sitting in a limbo for a good 18 months, 2 years throughout that period, just going, no, I won't make a decision, yay or nay at the moment. I'm just going to try and forget about it. But of course, you head out and talk about the album inevitably at different points in time, and so we eventually. So Glenn Richards produced the album, and so it didn't take too many conversations with him saying it's now or never. You've got to put this out to move forward, not just creatively, but we made a great thing here. Let's do it. This was Mike Noga, who a lot of people will know his work as a solo artist and as a drummer for the Drones. He worked on this with us.
Yeah, no, it's
and
great.
He of course, he passed away in this period.
Right.
And so of course we just didn't think about the album, let alone its release. At all, in terms of at least proactively.
Right. Yeah, look, you're a singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist from Tasmania, of course. Look, I've got a nice quote here. You've been described as a creator who spins epic tales about the intricacies and intimacies of Australian life. I personally like that description. I think those qualities really shine through on the new album. Do you consider this an accurate description of Christopher Coleman and his music?
It's grand, isn't it?
It's grand,
again, that sense of numbness when there are words written about you.
You're being too modest.
No, I just let that wash over me, and whoever wrote it, I think maybe they were feeling generous that day, and I'm not sure.
Well, for what it's worth, I absolutely agree with it, mate, because I think it's fantastic. So, look, I read somewhere that your major music influences include the Go-Betweens, Midnight Oil and Paul Kelly, amongst others. Are you able to pinpoint anything in particular about these artists' music that gives you inspiration?
I was describing that particular line with those three artists. I was trying to think of where I would pinpoint or give a reference point to this album,
yep.
and I guess it was those incredible alpha male horns from Midnight Oil were sort of creeping through.
Right.
Again, Glenn wrote the horn arrangements, and it's just become a real. There's no way you can kind of imagine doing a gig without the horn section. Now it's such integral parts of the composition. But I had a real moment with, not that you can't really have anything against Paul Kelly, can you? But I was going on a trip with my dad overseas and had this, Discman, and it was the songs from the South.
Right.
And there was a little period there. I was working in LA with this crack session band, and it just sort of use the word crack again, cracked me open in terms of how, I think it was Deeper Water and Have You Ever Seen Sydney?
Right.
747 at night, and that sort of pivoted me around to, going through all of his influences, like so many others of my country men and women have, and I've followed every album since, from 2010 onwards.
Yeah, great.
He's been prolific in that period too, of course. So it's been great.
Yeah. So the Australian artists are the ones you really found influential in the main.
Yeah, for the most part, I reckon if I did a catalogue of my record collection, particularly the last few years, I would have struggled to have left the continent, I think.
Right, okay, fair enough. Now, now you've been on the scene for a little while. 2 previous albums and an EP in your kit bag to date. Now, your debut album, Christopher Coleman Collective, was highly acclaimed and also resulted in you receiving some pretty cool awards, I believe. Now, I've got here Triple J unearthed Artist of the Year in 2013 and Telstra Road to Discovery in 2014.
Yeah, that seems like a long time ago now. With the Unearthed, it let us play at the Tassie's Incarnation of the Falls Festival.
Right, yeah.
And so that was the first time we'd really got up out of a pub.
Right, yeah.
And played outside with a $1 million PA system.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful experience.
Must have been incredible.
Yeah, it was. I nearly didn't get there due to the nerves, but
Yeah.
I had good people around, and we rolled out our set at 11 or 11:30 in the morning, and yeah.
Great stuff. Look, your 8-piece band, The Great Escape. 8-piece, wow, that's big. And you mentioned, you mentioned Glenn Richards, of course, and look, it's been rightfully described as a supergroup. Can you tell us a little bit about the other members of the band? I know you've said Glenn from Augie March, of course, and also the Drones, members from the Drones.
Yeah, and it was maybe 4 years ago. I could talk at great length at this. I know you don't have too much time on your show, but
that's okay. Keep going.
There's a group Iwa and the Vision of Paradise.
Oh, okay.
Who put out their second record just last week, and that was one of those moments where I just absolutely fell in love with Stu Hollingsworth. Well, as a bass player, but later as a person too, he's a fine man. But I just knew I wanted to work with him one day.
Right.
And through Mike, I was able to get a bit of an intro, and he came along, and we had a play in the spare room of our little 2-bedroom place at the time, and it clicked, and he's been just the best fella to have around on your side, slowly chipping away and getting things ready for whatever. We've had a few shows over the summer.
Right.
And he's a good man to have on your side. And Kelly Ottaway, I'm not sure if you made it down to Tassie and come across too many shows, but Kel's usually playing keys in any gig worth going to.
Right.
Pretty close to anyway.
Yep.
And so I had the luxury of being able to pay people properly
right.
with this album, and so that meant that I had the luxury of reaching out to people with a bit of with the confidence of going, well, even if they're not necessarily into it, there's a good chance they'll do it because they're going to get paid for it.
Yeah.
And
good reason, yeah.
And anyway, as it turns out, in the end, he's still interested in being around, and we rehearse he lives in this old RSL down by the beach. So that's a great space to.
It would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Look, if we could go back to the album for a moment. Look, one of my favourite tracks on the new album is the recent single Amelia. Absolutely beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about that song?
Yeah. So the album as a whole follows the story of a guy named Jesse coming back from serving in Afghanistan, and he comes back to Sydney and isn't able to integrate back into his community. So he takes a chance and goes down to Tasmania to see what might happen with the change of scenery. And the track listing on the record, there's except for his name and Amelia's name, they're all place names throughout Tasmania.
Right.
And so maybe 5 years into his Tasmanian escape, he meets Amelia, and she lights him up and gives him hope of turning a corner.
Yeah.
And so but Amelia as a tune is pretty short, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a waltz and 2 verses and 2 choruses, and I feel like it's an optimistic song.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song, and optimistic's a good word for it. Look, another absolute favourite of mine, I reckon it's probably my favourite track on the album, track 2 by Morris Zoo. Wow, absolutely sensational. There, can you tell us a little bit about that particular number? Absolutely love it.
Oh, thanks. It's probably one of mine as well.
I bet it is. It's great.
Probably the first tune that we really locked into with Mike and with Mike and Stu, and I guess that is a sign, that the first song that you'll show.
Yeah, fantastic.
To a couple of players who you haven't made music with before.
Yeah, and you would have won them over immediately. They would have thought, wow, got to be part of this.
I don't know. Well, it was pretty incredible for me to have them continue to keep turning up, and that particular song, as you say, is the second one on the record, and without speaking in cliches, it sets the tone in that it's Jesse's. He's out of Sydney. He's got every best intention of getting things together, even if he doesn't know what they are, and he latches onto the idea that he's going to search for the widely considered extinct Tasmanian tiger.
Right. Yeah, it's incredible stuff. Look, you mentioned before launching the album with a gig in Hobart. Now that's fairly soon, is it?
Yeah, Sunday week.
Sunday week, is it? Okay. And where's that?
At the Cathedral in the Hanging Gardens, so right in the middle of the city.
Yeah, fantastic venue for it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's we're ready to go after having a few gigs for Mona Foma in the summer, and we're going to get together a couple more times, but I'm feeling like it's just going to be something that we can sit back into and enjoy. Yeah,
fantastic. Good. And on the subject of touring, you mentioned you've already done a few gigs recently. You got any plans to actually tour the new album around Australia?
No, I don't. I'm pretty well at capacity at the moment.
Right.
Just getting not to say just, it's a lot of work, as you know, to put out a record.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, the 8-piece band. And, we recorded it a couple of months before our first son was born.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking that, naively, that if we record it and get it mastered before he's born, we might be able to do a gig in the summer, and then that'll be wrapped up and I can focus on my duties of fatherhood. But anyway, it took a little longer, and he's nearly 3.5 now. But anyway, we've got a nice set time so that he'll be able to come along and
that's great.
Check it out if he's into it. We're going to come on at 7:30. But yeah, in terms of touring, I don't have the match fitness for it at the moment.
Right.
But you never know down the track.
Well, you won that trophy when you're a 15-year-old. It's most committed. So I'd be pretty optimistic. Fantastic stuff. Look, thanks so much, Christopher, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Well, thank you, Anton. It's good to chat it out.
Yeah, look, and good luck with the new album. It's a real winner, that one. It's just fantastic, mate, and wish you every success with it. And look, also future touring, and look, we'd love to see you in Victoria one of these days. So if you ever plan an itinerary to tour the album, make sure you come to Warrnambool, mate, in Victoria.
Yeah, well, it'll be my
fantastic.
second time.
Second time? You've been here before?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was we stopped in there on the first album.
Oh, okay.
So 2014.
Right.
But don't ask me too many more questions about it.
It's amazing how many artists say that.
Tours. 30-odd shows on that tour.
Yeah, it's amazing how many artists say that. I think I've played in Warrnambool, but don't ask me to remember what it's like. It happens all the time.
I'm sorry that I'm another one to do that to you.
No, that's fine. Absolutely understand, mate. Look, thanks so much, and we'll have to talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot, Christopher.
Thanks, son.
Okay, mate.